I feel like one of the biggest misconceptions that we have about nature is this idea that gorillas are these like big, violent, strong animals. In reality, gorillas are the complete opposite of this kind of narrative that we've been sold about them. Through the like mainstream media and also like movies, so like I think it's King Kong, the one with the massive ape, we've kind of like sold this idea that they're these really big, angry animals that want to hurt us, but they just don't. Gorillas are pretty much just completely non-violent towards people because they can understand that we're not them and they're not us, and so as a consequence they're not really interested in fighting us. One of the most famous like nature documentary scenes ever is David Attenborough sitting amongst like gorillas in Rwanda, and they're just like interested in him, they're intrigued, they're not violent, they're not posing him any threat, they're these really gentle animals. Obviously you could then argue that yes, okay, maybe they don't fight people but they must fight each other all the time, right? Wrong! These guys are also non-violent with each other. Gorilla fights are actually super duper rare. These guys want to be gentle and peaceful around each other as well, so they don't, engage in these aggressive fights with each other all the time, and they don't want to hurt people either. This is why when you go to see gorillas, you can get up pretty close to them in the wild. You can go in these little like safari parks as well and get really close to the gorillas. These are non-violent animals. Obviously, gorillas are preyed on by other animals, so this would include like leopards and crocodiles, which can attack and eat them. Obviously, that's kind of like a circle of life situation, but their biggest threat is actually us. Unfortunately, gorillas are poached, and because of this, their biggest threat is humans, and a lot of them are critically endangered. If we're not really careful with the way we go forward with understanding this issue and trying to help gorillas, we could lose them completely. I think that understanding that these animals are so gentle and so empathetic and curious with us, I think that that's a really important thing to understand, because understanding that they're not violent could really help us to conserve these animals. A lot of the time when people aren't interested in protecting an animal, it's because they assess it as dangerous or bad, which in itself is kind of heartbreaking because it's important to have food chains. But I also do think that teaching people that these animals aren't bad in any form could help with conservation. These animals are the ultimate gentle giants, and it's super important that we get around to saving them. But no, gorillas aren't aggressive, they don't want to fight you, they're very gentle, and they don't even fight each other. These might be the most misunderstood animal.